8 facts, each with a different kind of turning point. From a court ruling to a hospital album, these are the moments where the consequence mattered most. A robber won because the punishment law arrived too late. The crime happened before the Mandatory Victims Restitution Act, or MVRA, existed, and that law can require offenders to pay victims back. The Supreme Court said restitution under the MVRA is criminal punishment, not just a payment order, so timing mattered under the ex post facto clause. That meant the law could not be applied retroactively to make the sentence harsher than the law allowed when the offense was committed. The result was a narrow but important rule: courts can order restitution, but they cannot rewrite the past with a later punishment rule, and the decision leaves a clear line in the law. FC Barcelona refused to show up, and the scheduled Copa del Rey match never began. The game was set in the Copa del Rey, Spain's knockout cup, where one missed fixture can stop a team's run immediately. Barcelona's refusal came after a dispute over the match conditions, turning a normal cup night into a direct challenge to the organizers' decision. Because the team did not take the field, the fixture was treated as a major competition problem instead of a routine result. The episode became a rare reminder that football is not only played with skill, but also shaped by decisions, rules, and the silence left by one absent team. Jade Jones did not retire from elite sport. She started over in boxing after becoming Great Britain's first Olympic taekwondo gold medalist. In taekwondo, she fought in the 57-kilogram class, where speed, timing, and clean scoring matter more than brute force. Then came the turn. After winning Olympic gold in 2012, plus later world and European titles, she chose a different combat sport and began boxing training. That move meant rebuilding from the ground up, because boxing asks for different footwork, distance, and punch timing. Her path shows that a champion's skill can be portable, but the new ring still demands new habits, new patience, and a fresh decision to begin again. J Dilla finished Donuts from a hospital room, not a studio, and the album reached listeners only 3 days before he died. By then, James DeWitt Yancey, known as J Dilla, had already built a reputation in Detroit hip-hop through Slum Village, J-Lib, and production work for artists like The Pharcyde. When illness forced him away from a normal studio routine, he kept shaping short instrumental pieces, and those fragments became Donuts, a record built from patience and urgency. The album was released while he was still alive, but only just, turning a final project into a public moment that carried his condition into the music world. What lasts here is not a headline, but the trace of work done under pressure, a finished album, a release date, and a reminder that art can carry a life's last effort into public memory. She learned a computer tool to make drawings work with words, and that simple skill helped build World of Wonder. Laurie Triefeldt created World of Wonder as a weekly syndicated newspaper feature, built for the Star-Ledger and United Media. She taught herself a computer program, then used it to shape detailed color illustrations so the topic and the text could fit together on the page. That method made the feature easier to assemble, because the image and the writing could be planned as one piece instead of separate parts. For readers, the result was a clearer weekly page where a single topic could be explained through color, detail, and a steady publishing decision. John Humble made Los Angeles look flatter by waiting for harsh late afternoon light, so roads, buildings, and overpasses turned into sharp shapes instead of soft scenery. He worked in large format color, a camera style that records detail with a slow, careful look, and he aimed it at the ordinary cityscape around him. The strong light removed gentle shadows, so the city stopped reading like a skyline and started reading like a pattern of blocks, ramps, fences, and blank walls. That shift made the familiar feel strange, and Craig Kroll later described the result as attention to the oddities, absurdities, and mundane beauty of LA. Instead of hiding the city's rough edges, the light exposed them as part of the scene, and the photographs turned everyday infrastructure into something worth a second look, like a careful decision. Robert Usgalies did not literally make the Leaning Tower of Pisa straight. The phrase points to a striking claim attached to his name and his life in computer science. He was Robert Charles Usgalies, an American computer scientist and UCLA professor whose work included computerized EEG display with Thelma Estrin and an interest in the ALGOL 68 programming language. The surprise is that his name also appears in a very different context. He became linked to the tower through a claim that stands out beside his technical career and later academic travel. That kind of link can reshape how a person is remembered, because a single unusual phrase often travels farther than a long list of papers, lectures, and projects. Osgeles also co-authored grammars for programming languages, later lectured in Japan, Hong Kong, and Auckland, created BuzzHash, and in retirement started the Tigertail Virtual Museum, leaving behind a paper trail that shows how one life can cross research, teaching, and memory. Muriel Wilson said a car accident changed her singing because it fractured her skull and impaired her voice. Before that, she was known as Muriel Wilson, a soprano who sang on Broadway, in church, and on early radio. Then she said the crash fractured her skull, and after that injury her voice did not work the same way. The immediate result was simple and hard. A singer who had built a career on sound now had a damaged instrument. Her story shows how one injury can alter a stage career, not with drama, but through the everyday loss of a working voice and the records left behind. If one small detail changed the whole story, that is the kind of fact worth keeping. Subscribe for more and tell us which one surprised you most.